I've been to Cleveland many, many times. I've enjoyed myself every single time I've been here. And I think I see a lot of people that I know, but you know what makes it good is I see a lot of people that I don't know, which is the next generation that's coming in and taking over for us old fogies that are now retired, Vice President Emerita. And then I still try to squeeze it into that little card that they give me from the AFL-CIO, but I am delighted to be here. And I have been looking forward to being with you, and I want to say thank you to Debbie for thinking of inviting me to be with you today and enjoying your company, hopefully, as I make these remarks. It's been a while since I've been here, and I retired in September of 2007. It's the first time I've been an emerita. It doesn't pay anything, by the way, but I do like the title. But I like my new job description better. I also get to spend a lot of time with the two best grandchildren in the world. I have a 20-year-old grandson who acts like he's 5, and I have an 11-year-old granddaughter who acts like she's 20. You know how girls are. You know how they grow up. But I want to pay some tribute first to some pretty fantastic people who have made Jobs with Justice into one of the real success stories for progressives in the Midwest. I wish we could clone your organization and spread it around all over the country. Every time that I have been in Cleveland, everyone talks about Jobs with Justice. But I think they're talking a lot more now that Debbie Klein is the new director there. And Debbie, for the work that you do, thank you so very, very much. You've done a terrific job. Thank you. Harriet Applegate. Gosh, what can I say about Harriet? She used to get me into so much trouble. But I mean, all of you know that's Harriet, right? She comes up with all these fantastic ideas. She, right now, of course, now she's into another life as the North Shore Federation of Labor's top person there, and she's one of the best labor leaders in our generation. And Harriet is one of the co-chairs of the Jobs with Justice. So, Harriet, thank you so much for the work that you do. Kelly Kuchak and Reverend George Herbig, did I pronounce that right? Thank you to the two of you as well, because the tribute of today is for the work that you do, but more importantly, the work that you're going to do. Because as we sit here today, we know that we all come from different backgrounds, we come from different parts of our communities, but we have one thing in common, and that is that we believe in the rights of workers, and we believe that workers and the community are one and the same. And how we make it work is exactly what Jobs with Justice has done over the years and continues to do. Each and every day, each of you, in whatever you do, strong and prosperous and vibrant city that gives as much to sisters and brothers a chance to move ahead. Mahatma Gandhi said, "You must become the change you wish to see in the world." And that is exactly what you do. I know about the great work that all of you have done fighting for living wages, for health care for everyone, and it's not just the rich and the lucky, but for restoring the freedom of workers to organize into unions. I've been here on a couple of occasions, as Harriet said. Any time that you've needed me, I don't think there was a single time that I was asked to come to Cleveland or to Ohio for any function that I didn't make the time, reschedule something else, and get here, which is exactly why I did to be here, because from here I head on into Columbus, which I know that some of you will also be joining me there as well. Now, Debbie suggested that I start out by telling you a little bit about my background, where I came from. I didn't grow up in a union family. I'm the daughter of cotton sharecroppers in Texas, second generation Mexican-American. I didn't know what a union was. Started out at 30 cents an hour, weeding cotton, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week at the age of 10. And I finally worked myself up to $1 an hour by the age of 19. But in the rural Texas in the 1950s, unions were unheard of. It was a word that none of us were familiar with. For my family, good wages and health insurance, disability insurance, pensions, unheard of. We didn't know what they were. and life was not easy. My dad, as a cotton sharecropper, had to work early dawn to late dusk every single day, 10, 15 hours, whatever it took to work. By the time that I went up to the age of 19, the best dream that I had was that I could one day work myself up to become, here it is, this was my dream, a cashier at Sears. I thought that would be the dream job. Air conditioning, you know, I could dress up every day and go to work. But I also saw during the days that I lived there, the migrant workers that would come through the Lubbock, Texas area from the Midwest and work themselves up to the Midwest, into Wisconsin, Michigan, right up until Christmas time. And their children, I would see them in school. And they would work in Texas and work themselves up. Every year it was the same, back-breaking labor, little money, no promise of a better life, very little education for their kids, and no future. In fact, I was part of a second-tier education program in my small city of Lorenzo, Texas. We didn't quite get the attention of the education because we were farm workers' kids. But I saw the young kids of migrant workers, and they got a third-tier education because the teachers knew they were only there for a couple of months and they would then be gone, so they got very little from them. I also saw the Bracero program. I saw the Mexicans, contract workers who would come to the U.S. and they were treated no better than slave labor. They were made to sleep in chicken coops and shacks with aluminum roofs, and I can just imagine that you know how hot that can get. But that's where they had to sleep. And then they had accounts at the little grocery store, and they overcharged them, and that's how they got their money. But when I was working in the cotton fields, the biggest dream was that someday I could work somewhere inside and have a nice job. Then something happened. I became a secretary for a construction local in Lubbock, Texas. Got the job because I was bilingual. I could speak Spanish and write it and interpret it. The guy never really asked me if I could type.